Time to take you back to BC's first televised leaders' debate. It is from October 8th, 1991, when the Social Credit's Rita Johnston was Premier, facing off against the NDP leader Mike Harcourt and the BC Liberals' Gordon Wilson in a fiery exchange. Have a look.
This was the man with the most to lose tonight, NDP leader Mike Harcourt. Leading in all the opinion polls, he couldn't avoid a debate he had called for so early on. So-called Rita Johnston had a lot riding on this too. Social Credit is down in the polls, and it's up to her to keep the party in power. This is the man with nothing to lose, Liberal leader Gordon Wilson. His party has no seat in the legislature, no record to defend. He was scrappy a week ago, pushing his way into the debate, and tonight he was scrappy in debate.
You're back to the future, looking to the past, and start to turn and look to the future, because that's what the people of British Columbia want, is a leader that looks to the future. With all due respect to Mr. Harcourt, we're not electing a mayor of BC. We want a premier that has vision and a leadership, and with due respect to Rita, I've said publicly before, and I'll say it in front of all British Columbia, you were a good Minister of Municipal Affairs. I don't think that that's doubtful. But you have behind you the same Delta Surrey backroom gang that were behind Bill Vander Zalm of British Columbia.
But going into tonight's debate, the contest was undeniably between Harcourt and Johnston. How far would either go to score a political point? Would either one take any risks? Or would they play it safe?
User pay system where you pay at the door. Take your pick. You're the one that has to come clean to the people of British Columbia.
Why don't you stop scaring the senior citizens of this province with your lies?
Who you're going to tax. You were the one that introduced the property purchase tax for first-time home buyers.
That's
to take
right.
it away now, when I voted against it in the first place, is a bit much, Mrs. Johnson. You shouldn't have introduced it and hurt young British Columbians trying to buy their first home in the first place.
You're skating around it, but we want the numbers, Mike. We want the numbers.
I've told you the numbers. The
You don't
bottom
have any
line is a
numbers.
balanced budget. We'll
You're
set tough
afraid to give
priorities.
us the numbers.
We'll set tough priorities above the line, and the bottom line is a balanced budget.
You're gutless. You won't give us the numbers.
I
This
gave them to
reminds
you.
me of the legislature, and here's a classic example of why nothing ever gets done in the province of British Columbia. Right here, you saw it live on CBC.
And that at least got a laugh out of the reporters watching the debate with the spin doctors, those party advisors trying to put the best light on their leader.
So this debate ended up being a very significant one for Gordon Wilson, as his party won 1/3 of the votes cast, making the BC Liberals the official opposition in the BC legislature after having no seats since 1979. It also signaled the end of the long social credit dynasty. Flash forward 33 years. Last night, BC viewed the political party leaders squared off on important issues ahead of this election, now just 10 days away. But with social media and information available with a quick Google search, do political debates like this still hold the same value? Joining us now to talk about the impact of political debates is Hamish Telford, political science professor from the University of the Fraser Valley. Hamish, we appreciate your time. In your opinion, do these political debates still hold value?
Absolutely. For many citizens, the debate is really the only time that they tune in seriously to the election. It was an hour and a half last night where a lot of people tuned in, perhaps for the only time in this campaign. Of course, two of the leaders are new, David Eby and John Rustad, so it was their best opportunity to get to know these leaders, and so it is still significant. However, we don't tend to see the same sort of dramatic outcomes from debates as we saw in that 1991 debate. The leaders are overly prepped for this, and they're prepped not to make mistakes rather than to win. And so they're so coached that there's rarely anything really dramatic happening in the debates, and not much that will shift opinion in the way that Gordon Wilson was able to shift opinion in that debate 35 years ago.
What were some of those standout moments from last night's debate for you?
Well, of course, John Rustad and David Eby were going at it pretty hard. But the line that really stood out for me was Sonia Furstenau when she suggested that Mr. Rustad wants to take the province back to 1957, that was his vision of the future of the province.
All right, and I think we have that clip that we want to play from Sonia Furstenau. Let's play that again.
It's fascinating to me that John Rustad's vision for this province is one that's rooted somewhere around 1957. I mean, he cannot look ahead because he can only look back. He is so limited in his imagination of what's possible. And when it comes to reconciliation, when it comes to sorting out rights and title, what we have to do, the hard but essential work we have to do. All John Rustad can do is look back to when he was Minister of Indigenous Relations, and what he wanted to do was visit First Nations that had golf courses. He is not seriously taking this issue and recognizing the serious work of a provincial government is not to politicize this, not to make people afraid, but to recognize that to move forward, to create economic certainty, to create economic prosperity for everybody in BC, this issue has to be sorted out.
Hamish, perhaps not a Gordon Wilson knockout moment, but it carried weight for you.
It did, especially that first part where she just sort of encapsulated in that one sentence the essence in her mind of John Rustad and really what David Eby was trying to get at with all of his attacks on John Rustad, but he didn't have that single line which encapsulated everything that he was trying to say in an easily conveyable message, was what Sonia Furstenau did there, and then she was able to elaborate on the point. So I think that one exchange that she had with John Rustad was much more effective than the many attacks that David Eby tried to launch against Mr. Rustad, who I should say was not fazed by any of these attacks.
Now, how do cultural and demographic shifts in BC, do you think, influence the effectiveness as debates as a tool for engagement? Is it mostly for if I can say it, older voters, or what do you think?
Well, judging by my students' reaction today, it is for older voters. I asked my classes today who watched the debate, and
no
none
offense
of them
to you.
did. However, I did make my 18-year-old son watch, so at least one teenager watched at least some of the debate. So yes, I think, and television, of course, is something which young people don't engage with as much anymore as older people do. I find it difficult to speak for other demographics, particularly new Canadians, but I do know that some media outlets were broadcasting the debate live in translation into Punjabi, Mandarin, Cantonese. So hopefully members of those community were able to tune in and hear the debate in real time in their own language.
And lastly, Hamish, we appreciate your time. Do you think this debate made a difference for anybody who hadn't made up their mind on who they would vote for?
I rather suspect not. I think all of the supporters of the leaders probably thought their leader won the debate last night, which of course is how they prepped for it. But there may be a couple of things that come out of it. Perhaps the dual attacks by David Eby and Sonia Furstenau on John Rustad may make a few people question Mr. Rustad. The other thing I thought was interesting was Sonia Furstenau definitely running to the left of David Eby, which meant that he was getting it from both sides. On the one side, he was getting it from going too far on certain policies, and from Sonia Furstenau not going far enough, which I think in the end puts David Eby in the middle. And of course, this election, I think, is going to be decided by whoever is able to capture the middle. So although it may have been a difficult night for David Eby, he may have come out of it in not a bad position.
Hamish Telford, political science professor from the University of the Fraser Valley. We appreciate your time and insight as always.
You're welcome.